In the historical hierarchy of Thai occult artifacts, one talisman holds a fearsome reputation. At its peak, it was ranked as the #1 protective item in the country, credited with the specific ability to drop an entire army, or a targeted household, into a deep, unbreakable sleep. We are talking about the Takrut Mayarap Sakot Tap. A takrut is a sacred rolled metal amulet, and this specific version was forged by the revered master Luang Por Khun of Wat Phra Nan. Luang Por Khun operated in Phetchaburi during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This was a violent frontier era in Thailand, defined by heavy conflict. In this environment, carrying a protective amulet was often a matter of life and death for soldiers and civilians alike. The name of the amulet draws directly from the Ramakien, the Thai national epic. Specifically, it channels the Yam Salak Klau yantra, a sacred geometric design and spell, referencing the moment the monkey god Hanuman used magic to incapacitate a demon army with slumber. What makes this artifact relevant to high-end collectors today is its extreme scarcity. Historical records estimate Luang Por Khun produced a total of only 300 pieces in his lifetime. Every single surviving unit is now well over a century old. Because of this rarity, buyers entering the market face a 6-figure bought price tag. But capital is only the first hurdle. The real dilemma for a collector is choosing between the two primary surviving materials: copper, known locally as tong dang, and lead, known as takwa. Deciding between copper and lead goes far beyond aesthetic preference. This is a choice between two entirely different philosophies of physical preservation, financial investment, and esoteric spiritual power. To evaluate these metals accurately, we have to start with a foundational truth. The baseline spiritual efficacy of both the copper and lead versions is absolutely identical. This is because both materials underwent the exact same grueling consecration ritual. The process began strictly on Sao Ha, which translates to Saturday the 5th. This is a rare astrological alignment in the Thai lunar calendar, highly prized by monks for its potent, empowering energy. On this specific day, the master would begin etching the metal. The geographical consecration was equally intense. The master transported the amulets to 7 different regional cemeteries. This was done to absorb profound spiritual grounding and draw upon the heavy energy of the underworld. Then came a highly unusual erasure ritual. On the full moon of the 12th month, Luang Por Khun would take smooth Mon playing marbles and completely rub away the sacred inscriptions he had painstakingly carved into the metal. But he did not do this just once. This entire cyclical process, astrological inscription, cemetery blessing, and full moon erasure, had to be repeated 3 full times over 3 years before a single takrut was considered complete. This perfectly balanced scale illustrates the outcome. Because the ritual input is identical, a buyer does not pay a premium for better magic in one metal over the other. The core sleep-inducing and suppressing powers are perfectly equal in both copper and lead. The divergence between the two amulets begins with metallurgy. We need to look at how these specific elements age and survive over a 100-year timeline. Copper is an exceptionally rigid, hard metal. From a structural standpoint, it powerfully resists deformation and is nearly impossible to crush under normal handling conditions. This cross-section shows copper's aging process. Over a century, exposure develops a blue-green verdigris patina. This isn't damage, it's a self-protecting chemical barrier shielding the core metal. This patina permanently locks in the original inscriptions, preserving the master's etchings flawlessly. Lead presents a stark contrast. It is a highly dense, heavy element, but it is extremely soft and malleable. As lead ages, it oxidizes into a dull white or gray crystalline layer. Because of its softness, a century-old lead takrut is highly prone to denting, warping, or flattening out after decades of being handled or worn. To combat this fragility, historical owners had to wrap lead takruts in tight cord bindings and coat them in thick layers of traditional black lacquer just to help them survive daily wear and tear. The physical trade-off is straightforward. Copper guarantees a pristine, zero-maintenance structural asset. Lead provides an authentic, delicate antique texture that demands meticulous physical stewardship from its owner. The differences go deeper than physical chemistry. Traditional Thai occultists assign specific esoteric properties to the elemental nature of the metals themselves, regardless of the spell etched into them. In this tradition, copper has a highly active esoteric profile. It is viewed as a hot, highly conductive, and dynamic element. Practitioners connect this heat to active applications. Copper is believed to project Kong Krathon, meaning active invulnerability and physical protection, while simultaneously pushing outward to amplify the wearer's charisma and social authority. Lead sits on the opposite spectrum. It is a heavy, absorptive metal tied to grounding Saturnian energy, a slow, dense force associated with quiet endurance. This density lends itself to passive defense. Lead is believed to provide Cloud, the magic of evasion. Instead of projecting a shield, it actively pulls in, absorbs, and quietly neutralizes unseen threats before they manifest. These esoteric flavors naturally align with different personalities. Copper tends to attract the charismatic, public-facing leader who needs to project authority. Lead attracts the stealthy, grounded practitioner who prefers to operate unnoticed. While Luang Por Khun's core spell is identical on both, the metal dictates the operational flavor. Copper projects power outward, while lead pulls threats inward and quietly extinguishes them. Finally, we must factor in the extreme market economics governing the survival of these 300 artifacts today. The baseline financial reality is steep. Any authenticated Takrut Mayarap trades in the hundreds of thousands of baht on the private market. This visual matrix highlights a critical market imbalance. Copper variants were produced in significantly lower quantities than lead variants. Consequently, when a copper piece surfaces, it commands a steep 20 to 40% premium. Acquiring copper requires immense patience and significant capital. The few surviving pieces are locked away, kept entirely off-market as prestige display assets by elite collectors. For the buyer, lead offers a realistic, albeit expensive, acquisition path. Copper, conversely, represents the ultimate, aggressively appreciating blue-chip rarity. Knowing the physical facts, the spiritual nuances, and the severe financial realities, which Takrut truly belongs in your collection? Looking at this decision tree, we define the first profile, the heritage investor. This buyer focuses on long-term holding, structural perfection, and market rarity. For the investor, the recommendation is copper. It survives time effortlessly, requires zero maintenance, and projects authority. The alternate path is for the traditional practitioner. This buyer prioritizes authentic esoteric resonance, historical texture, and passive threat suppression. For the practitioner, the recommendation is lead. It delivers heavy absorptive protection, provided you maintain its fragile structure. Whichever metal you choose, you are securing one of only 300 pieces ever forged. This is the inheritance of 3 years of Luang Por Khun's focused, irreplaceable genius.